Right. Thank you.
No, thank you. Know when you're ready.
Okay, ready.
Professionalism. It's not the job you do, it's how you do the job. You ever ask yourself, why are some people successful and given opportunities to advance and others are just never given that opportunity even though they have a strong skill set? I've been in the Air Force for 13 years, and prior to that I worked 4 years at Amazon.com. And something consistent I've seen along the way is the individuals that refuse to take the step and look at themselves as professionals as opposed to just an average worker are the ones that get left behind. I've known many folks who have a very strong skill set and work hard every day, but they just never take that step. They're never willing to drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid, act professional, and conform to standards. So does this sound like you? Or maybe you know somebody that's like that? Maybe it's time to make a change. If you want to rise to the next level of performance and become a leader amongst your peers, you need to think of yourself as a professional, carry yourself as a professional, and act like a professional. Now the most important one of those is to think of yourself as a professional, because once you're able to do that, everything gets easier. But the road to that can be difficult. Those long days on the flight line, dealing with rude customers on a regular basis, or just a crushing workload has a tendency to erode our motivation and degrade our self-worth. But you can't let that get you down. You have to stay focused and remember that the job that you do is important. You're a professional, and professionals can rise above. Whenever I start to lose a little bit of focus and I lose a little bit of motivation, I like to think of the song Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts by Funkadelic. And there's a line from the song that's, you rise as high as your dominant aspiration and you descend to the level of the lowest concept of yourself. So if you think of yourself as just a crew chief or just an average worker bee or just an airman, that's all the highest you're going to go. But if you think of yourself as a professional, then you will become a professional. So if you're with me on understanding that thinking of yourself as a professional is the most important, acting like a professional is the hardest part. Because acting like a professional is where the rubber meets the road, it's how well you do the job. In the beginning I told you that it's not how you do the job, it's not the job you do, it's how you do the job. Well, this is it. Acting like or performing like a professional involves always doing your best to excel and find new ways to do it. A professional is efficient, reliable, and knowledgeable. Now, but we know that this is not easy to do. The hardest part is going to be to get the job done while still adhering to all the rules, regulations, and standards set forth by your supervisors. If you can manage to do all those without cutting corners and cheating, that's what's going to set you apart as a professional from that average everyday worker bee. Your leaders and supervisors, they know this, and they're looking for individuals that can demonstrate that ability. So show them what you're capable of and set the example. So if you're following me so far, you understand the need to walk the walk. But you also need to be able to talk the talk. And carrying yourself like a professional is a little bit like talking the talk. It's how we present ourselves to our peers, supervisors, and our customers. Their impression of us can go a long way to either opening or closing doors. And speaking of closing doors, one way that we have a bad tendency to do that is when the little chip on our shoulder tricks us into thinking that because we work hard every day and we've had a long day on the flight line, that somehow that allows us to be less professional or have a lackadaisical attitude. We just expect others to accept that we're going to act that way just because we work hard, but that's not a realistic expectation. Professionalism is the way we communicate. It's common ground that all of us can relate to. You should always be courteous, use proper forms of address, wear your uniform correctly, and avoid gossip. So now that you've heard all three parts of my mantra, there's one last thing that you need to remember. You have to take all three parts at the same time. Nobody wants to be that guy or listen to that guy who can talk the talk and kiss up to the boss, but doesn't have the skill set to actually get the job done. So if you're tired of being average and you want to take yourself to that next level and be a leader, remember the mantra. Think, act, and carry yourself like a professional. You're not going to change overnight, but the journey to get there will give you more pride in your work. Your peers, supervisors, and leadership are going to eventually take note and give you opportunities to rise to the next level.